All right. Hello. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Bulos Abdallah. I'm joined by my colleagues Jen Yeager and Karen Lewis, as well as Kelly Sanacero. We are the SOE Engineering First Year Advising Hub. Today, we're going to go over how to register for courses and prepare yourselves for launch. The agenda, what are we going to be talking about today? So just a brief little introduction, which is what we're doing right now. We're going to go over some of the most common and the most used academic definitions that you're going to see over the next few weeks and throughout your entire time at RPI when you are going to be registering for classes. We will be going over registration resources, what's available to you, and how you could take advantage of all those resources. And then we'll specifically go into the specific details of how to register and how transfer credits apply. And then we'll also be going over some important dates that you're going to want to have on your calendars as we move forward. So, who are the advisors at the Advising Hub? So I am being joined by Karen, Kelly, and Jen. Who is missing on this call is Kim Loring. We've been advising for 4 years together now, 5 years together now. Combined all of the years' experiences, we have probably well over 20 or 30 years of experience. So you are in good hands. This is a very strong team. I feel very good to be a part of this team. And I think you're going to be finding us very useful. So make sure you get in touch with us and take advantage of us if you ever need to. So some of the academic definitions that you're going to be seeing a lot, and some of the ones that I wanted to highlight here are the add deadline and the drop deadline. If you can throw these two deadlines on your calendars, just that way you're staying on top of things and staying organized. But basically, the add deadline is when you have the ability to go in and add courses, and then the drop deadline is when you have the ability to drop courses from your schedule. So this is generally goes right up until 10 days of 10 class days of a semester. So it feels very quick. So you do have to, be very swift in making those decisions if you did want to add or drop a course. But then again, if you're not really sure what to do, not really, unsure of how to navigate those waters, please get in touch with your advisor. Please get in touch with us and let us know. We have no issues working that out with you and bouncing a bunch of questions off of you and whatnot. So more communication is way better than no communication at all. If you had any questions or ran into any issues about these sorts of things, so just let us know. Yeah, and we'll get you going on that. Another really big important thing that's on this slide is withdrawing from courses. So if you needed to drop a course after the drop deadline has already passed, you're going to be left with a W grade on your transcript. It doesn't really mean anything. It's not a grade. It doesn't get factored into your GPA or anything like that. It does sit in your transcript. So generally, the advice that we've given over the years is you don't want to have too many W's on your transcript. One or two might be fine. Three is fine too, but the more you have them, they start adding up on your transcript, and it might generate some questions, years down the line if it is important enough for, let's say, an employer, for example, might be looking at a transcript. They might be curious to know why you were withdrawing from so many classes. There's a lot of very good reasons and a lot of legitimate reasons that are out there, and everybody's case is going to be different. But again, if you're not really sure if what's the right move for you, then please feel free to get in touch with us. Moving on, some more academic definitions that we wanted to go over. HASS, you're going to see HASS a lot. HASS, which stands for Humanities, Arts, and Social Sciences. So engineering students must complete 20 credits in the HASS core. And it's just something that everyone at RPI has to do. And if you're not really sure exactly what that means, let us know. That's kind of the theme of today's presentation, is to just let us know. A lot of the courses that you're going to see in Haas are going to be like your inquiry courses, such as science, tech, and society. You might see a lot of arts courses. You might see a lot of philosophy or psychology courses. That's all going to be grouped under the Haas umbrella in this case here. Another really important acronym or really important academic definition that we want you to be mindful of is the Pass No Crediting a Course, or PNC for short. So subject to the limitations listed below here, I'm just going to read right off the slide. But undergraduate students may elect to take courses on a pass or no credit basis, for which the credit is either listed as a P pass or NC, or which is if you failed a course, you just don't get credit for it. Grade points will not be assigned for these courses, and the P or the NC will not be reflected in the grade point average. So there is a little bit of strategy at play here. If you couldn't tell, with adding and dropping courses and withdrawing from courses or even pass no crediting courses. And again, just communicate with your advisor in the future if you feel like you need to make a move such as this here. You'd also have the option to audit a course. Auditing a course is basically taking a course that you can attend, but you're not getting any credit. It is very, very, very rare for students to audit a course. I don't think I've ever advised a student to do that in my 4 or 5 years doing that. Generally, you see staff or faculty auditing courses, though. So it's not really something that we'll spend a little, more time on if not needed. You can also elect to repeat a course. So let's say you fail a course that you need to have in order to continue with your curriculum as an engineer at RPI. You do have a limit, though. You're only able to repeat courses up to 2 times here. And something to really keep in mind when you repeat a course is the grades stick on your transcript, but the course credit for the most recent time that you took it, or sorry, let me start over. The grade that you get for the most recent class that you take is going to stick. So let's say you get an F in Calculus 1 this fall, and then you take Calculus 1 again in the spring. That last grade that you got in the spring is going to count. That's just something that you wanted to keep in mind here, that F stays on your transcript. It's just not calculated in your GPA. Sorry, that was a little long-winded in my explanation here, but again, theme of today's presentation, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to approach us and ask. There's a really good list of engineering majors at RPI. If you're not really sure what they are, these are all of your options here. I did want to go over the list of acronyms at RPI. I don't know if you've noticed, but we do love our acronyms here. Where'd it go? There it is. So yeah, feel free to go over this list. I'm going to throw that in our chat if I could find it. There we go. Yeah, so feel free to go over that list if you need to get comfortable with all the acronyms that we use. It's probably going to seem a little daunting at first, but I promise you will get used to it. Probably, a couple weeks into the start of the semester. If not, you will figure it out by the end of the year for sure. But yeah, we have 13 different majors at engineering at RPI. If you had any questions about it, please let us know. One of the big highlights I wanted to bring up is the undeclared engineering. If you're not really sure which direction you want it to go into, undeclared is probably the best way to go for your first semester, maybe even for your first year entirely. You will be taking all the courses that every other engineering major is going to be taking. So when you do switch over to a specific engineering major, it's going to be like you haven't missed a beat, really. There might be 1 or 2 courses that you might have to play catch up on, but it's not going to be, daunting or anything like that of a task going forward if that's something that you did want to do. Yep. So that's basically went ahead a slide without really looking into it really too much here. But one big perk by being an undeclared engineer is you get to take Introduction to Better World Engineering. It's a seminar-based course that introduces everyone to a different engineering discipline. Once per week, you get to meet with a professor or a faculty member from a specific engineering department, and they do a really cool presentation on what they teach, what they study, what their research is in, what their careers have been like, and what a curriculum might look like for you if that's something that you did want to go into. It's a really interesting course. We'll be taking it over this year, and if you're going to be an undeclared engineer, looking forward to seeing you at all of these seminars this year. This is only offered in the fall term. So if you're on the fence and not really sure in which direction you want to go to, but you signed up as a mechanical engineer or an aeronautical engineer, for example, it might be a good idea to still sign up for this class. It is available for all engineers. So just keep in mind that this is a pretty huge class, pretty informative in terms of figuring out exactly what you wanted to do and what you wanted to study as an engineer at RPI. Thinking about changing your major, you still can do that. You have until the end of the summer before classes start in August to change your major in the application portal. Just make sure you log in and change your major. It's as easy as that. If you weren't sure, if you need to register for different classes, if you're not really sure, get in touch with us. We're going to be running and hosting drop-in hours all week for the next couple of weeks, actually. So just get with us, let us know if you're not sure. But if you do have a really good idea, feel free to go ahead and change your major in the application portal. It might be a really good idea, though, to just shoot us an email and just run it by us just in case if you had any issues or just weren't really sure about how to move forward in terms of which classes you wanted to take for a specific major that you wanted to change. So some of the resources I wanted to mention here real quick is our website. If you haven't gone through our website, I would definitely recommend doing that. There is pretty much everything on here in terms of general FAQs, forms that you might need to fill out. You can really read into your major and the department that it's housed under. So that might be a good idea to just spend a little bit of time going over that. We have checklists and Excel templates to guide you through all the different majors, all the different classes that you have to take, especially for your first year. It might be really important to check that out before you go into any sort of registration period. If you had any questions about transfer credits, all of that information can be found on our website too, but everything is linked in the FAQs there, so feel free to go through that. And yeah, just registration assistance FAQs, general FAQs, and then most importantly, we send email blasts to everyone in the class of 2030 for the engineering students. We've already sent 2, so if you haven't read those yet, I would definitely go in and take a peek at both of those emails, but if not, you can find them both on our website as well. So very, very handy tool that you should be able to take advantage of here. I'm going to hand the baton over to my colleague Jen here, as she's going to go over the registration checklists and the Excel templates. Jen?
Thanks, Bulos. Testing, testing.
Loud and clear.
So, registration checklist and Excel templates. This checklist that you see on the left-hand side, this is primarily getting you set to register for your first semester at RPI. Then you're going to move on with us. There's a cute little Excel template. You're going to live in that after your first semester. But right now, we're kind of leaning very heavily on your registration checklist. It basically says, I already took this. I brought this in through transfer credit. I brought this in through AP. What do I register for in its place? So we have you right there. My fun fact about the registration checklist is if you go to the bottom, you'll see a sample registration, and you can lean heavily on that and then go back up and look and see the if then scenarios. But we spent a good amount of time creating these checklists with you guys in mind, making sure you had all the resources available. I'm ready for the next slide. How to register. So this is a big question. We're talking to students right now in your drop-ins. We'll be doing them again today and all the way through registration week. We have to talk about QUACs. That's what we're looking at the screen. It's not something that's, primarily authorized by RPI. It's a tool that we use, and it's very helpful in helping you build a schedule. So we talk about that in all these videos. Karen Lewis even did a video, excuse me, all about how to use Quacks. So really, like Bulo said, leaning really heavily into using our website as your main resource. You'll find all these things and that video from Karen on how to use Quacks to build your schedule. You are not going to use Quacks to actually register for your classes. Nobody can register for classes yet. Registration opens for all the freshman class on the 13th of July. So nobody's actually able to register until that point unless you got a time ticket for earlier. We have a couple students floating around that are athletes or things like that. They might be able to register a tiny bit earlier, but primarily you're looking at July 13th as your registration date. Not using Quacks for that, using SIS, and we'll talk about that next. I'm ready. Registering for classes. This is a screenshot of a SIS screen. And I believe I should make my screen bigger so I can actually know what I'm talking about. This is a screenshot from one of us. So this is not the student facing side, but yours looks very similar. This is going to be your landing page for SIS. And this takes you to all the things you need to do, including registering for classes. We can go to the next slide because then we'll start like seeing in depth what registration looks like. When you click on the little tab that says register for classes, there's the arrow there directing you register for classes. Next screen, please. This is going back to Quacks, and this is kind of simulating what you're going to do for registration. You will have your SIS screen open. You'll be logged into SIS, but you're also going to have your Quacks screen open. This is a Quacks screen. You're going to have a couple versions of Quacks all set, preloaded. This is what I want to register for. This is my number one choice of classes. This is number two, et cetera, et cetera. This is a pretty hefty schedule. It depends on what classes you're taking, which depends on what major you are. But when you look at the bottom of Quacks, you'll see in yellow highlight the CRN numbers. CRNs are your friend at RPI. That means your course registration number. Those course registration numbers correspond to the classes that the student has picked out in Quacks. So you can do a cut and paste situation, and you're going to copy the CRN and you're going to be able to plop it right into SIS to register for your classes. Next screen, please, Bulos. So here are the arrows. There's two options, finding classes or entering the CRN. I just talked about entering the CRN. It is my favorite way for students to register for classes. A lot less guesswork. You can find classes. It's kind of like the long way of doing things. And we say, nah, just enter the CRN. There's a little box. Like I said, you're going to copy, cut, and paste the CRN number from Quacks right into the schedule here to register. And then you have a gray button that says add to summary. Very important because you can't do anything until you add that CRN officially. Have you registered yet? Heck no. That's why we have the next screen. But you have to add to summary, hit the gray button. Then when you click through, you could see the CRN number goes right there. There's going to be a place for a new CRN. So I'm just going to rinse and repeat and do this several times until all my classes are added. CRN, plop it in there, add to summary. CRN, put it in there, add to summary. You guys get it. But you're going to keep hitting that gray button to keep adding your classes. Next screen. And then you get to this screen after you've added all the CRNs. You can see you're in SIS. The classes are going to populate as you add them. Big important thing. I wish this gray button that said submit was like fluorescent yellow or had stars around it. That is the end all be all. You have to hit that submit button after all your classes are added in. That's what's going to turn it to green. Like above the arrow there, it says registered, registered. That doesn't happen until you hit that magical gray button. So many times we have students that are like, I'm registered for classes, yippee, and they log out of SIS. And then we come to realize they didn't register at all because they did all the steps, they added all the CRNs, they didn't hit submit. You are not registered until you hit submit. So please hit it, do it, be like us. Next screen, please, Bulos. All right, understanding your transfer credit. Again, back to our magical website, Kim Loring actually did an entire webinar about transfer credit, what it looks like, how you can see what will transfer. And then you could see there, you could click there for the webinar recording, click there for the slides of that slideshow, and you can see exactly what happens and what it looks like when you submit your transfer credit. Basically, the two biggest way people do transfer credit is they're requesting their official transcript sent to RPI, or they have AP credit and make sure that you have requested your AP credit be sent directly to RPI. A lot of students are coming at us with emails and they're like, no, my scores aren't ready yet. They're not coming until July 6th. We know everything's cool. That happens every year. Just make sure that you've requested they get sent to RPI. Otherwise, you're going to be behind in getting those AP credits in. Next slide, please. Important dates. Oh my gosh, take a picture of this with your cell phone. Take a screenshot. These are very important for you as a student. And every year we try to make students aware, like Bulo said, there's an add deadline where you can add classes to your schedule. There's a drop deadline and it comes fast. So within the first 2 weeks of classes. So your time ticket has been assigned. If you're running into any problems, can't find your time ticket, maybe there's an issue. We are responding to those emails as people email us at the RPI School of Engineering Hub, and we're pushing you to submit a registrar ticket so they can fix that up for you if there is a problem. We are in advising consultation right now. It started on the 25th. That goes all the way through the end of registration. So that's why we have these drop-ins. We're not in a drop-in now, but you'll see today we're doing drop-ins just like we were on Thursday and Friday. That's your chance to drop in and talk to any one of the 5 of us about how to register and what classes you should be taking. Like I said, July 13th is the general freshman registration opening. Some of you might have different language on this, but by and large, it's July 13th. Your first day of classes at RPI is August the 27th. And then we get to meet you face to face. September 11th is that add drop deadline. Super duper important. You can add classes, you can drop classes without getting a double W on your transcript. If, like Bulo said, you miss that add drop deadline, then you will withdraw. We have a pass no credit deadline way off in November, but this is a very important screen for you guys to have. Next screen, please.
Sorry, I did want to
Oh yeah,
drop a
do it.
quick comment real quick. There is a withdrawal deadline, which I think comes a week before that November 13th pass no credit deadline. If I don't quote me on that, we are looking it up on the backside of things right here before we could chime in. But I just want to
Sure.
let you know there is a withdrawal deadline. So if you are, thinking about withdrawing a class, make sure you do that before that deadline, which I believe is before that November 13th date. So just a FYI.
You're right, Bulos. Thank you. And yeah, it does typically run a week before the pass no credit deadline. So we'll get that in the chat or something to that effect. So we have a cute little QR code. If you have questions, you can go to our website using that QR code. This screen is where you're going to be living for the next year plus. You have access to us as your advisors, as your first year freshman advisors, all the way through September of next year. So get used to us because here we are to help you out. Next screen, please.
That is actually all
That's
we
it?
have today. Yeah. So
Beautiful.
anybody that's watching live here with us, so stick around. If you had any questions, we're happy to answer for you. For anybody watching the recording, feel free to shoot us an email. Our email address is on this slide, I believe. No, it's not. It's soehub@rpi.edu, which you can also find on our website. So thank you for watching.
Yeah.
We'll see you on campus soon, everybody.
Thanks, guys.